Yeah, make some noise at FanFest 2026. Bennett Woods, 97.3, The Fan. What a pleasure to be out here live from Petco Park this morning. This is incredible. The weather is spectacular. And, man, everything is running to plan so far. We'll see how it goes today. But we, again, Bennett Woods out here live at FanFest. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Rydell, executive producer. Hello, Paulie. Hello. Can barely hear you. Ben Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor.
Paulie's not even on the microphone.
He's not
because
on the mic.
We're going to have a guest here momentarily, but it's good to see everybody. You got the season ticket holders, the members who got in early at 9 o'clock, but the gates are now open for the people who have the 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. tickets, and it's already buzzing in here. We're on section 113 here at Petco Park. Right behind us, we can see kids running the bases. The field is full. Autograph lines are in place, and it's going to be a great afternoon here in San Diego. The weather is spectacular.
It's just perfect. We got Ben and Woods and Paulie here. I got my 8-year-old Bo with me. He is. We've got a basketball game after this, then a baseball practice after that. So we are the busiest Beavers in town. And man, we're just gonna get right to this morning. Very excited to welcome in our very first guest of the morning. And I don't know that we've talked to Jason. We talked to Jason
at spring training. I believe.
That's
yes,
right.
In the past. Obviously, circumstances a little different right now, but it's good to welcome you back to Bennett Woods at 97.3 The Fan. Obviously, everyone wants to know how you feeling, Jason.
Great. Yeah, it's always good to be back on with y'all. Feeling great. Knee feels great. Hacker's been doing a great job getting me healthy. I feel like I'm throwing bullpens and they're going well. So I'm pleased with the pace. I feel ready, or really close to ready. So yeah, I can't wait.
You know, they will. I was actually talking to Ben Fritz, who's just one of my favorite guys in the game of baseball, out at fantasy camp, and he's like, sometimes with pitchers, they always say, "I'm ready. I can go. I can go right now." For you, you've been through so many things in your career. You keep kind of rising above. How in the scheme of everything you've been through, how's this one been?
Yeah, they all are a little bit unique. I'd say so. When I did my elbow, I thought it was going to be like a 2-month thing, and it turned into 3 years.
Wow.
Whereas when this injury first happened, I was like, man, this is going to take forever.
Yeah.
And now I'm 4.5 months out and throwing bullpens. So it's been almost maybe a pleasant surprise, I'd call it. There's still work to be done, obviously, but I've been thrilled, So yeah, I've been. If you can say enjoy, I've enjoyed this one more than the others.
Cautiously optimistic.
Yes.
That had to be, for us as fans, one of the toughest moments of the season.
Yep.
Pennant race, stretch run in September, to see that happen. Just kind of tell us about how it's been for you, just kind of emotionally running through that since the injury.
Yeah, that was a dagger for me personally, obviously, when that happened, just because it was one of those you knew right away that the season was done. It's hard. It was mixed emotions because I knew I wasn't going to get it contribute when the games mattered most, but also, man, look at that bullpen, and they are fine without me. So I didn't feel like – so that kind of relieved me of feeling like I was letting the team down a little bit. It was just like, hey, of course we'd rather have me out there, but they're great. They're good, and we saw that throughout the playoffs. They did – everything. It's a dominant group from top to bottom, so that helped. And now it's just about that it's like the daily grind of the off season and the daily grind of rehab, trying to get small victories stacked each day so I can come back in my mind better than ever.
Talking to Padres reliever Jason Adam here on Bennett Woods this morning. Such a pleasure to have you. And when you talk about that nasty bullpen that's down there, you're going to have Ruben's back. Ben Fritz is back.
Yeah.
He knows everybody. Craig Stamon knows you guys. You guys know Craig. It's going to be a little different role for him. Have you guys had a chance to talk about kind of what he's thinking about how to deploy guys? Things, or is it way too early for that right now?
I'd say it's probably too early for that now.
Does he come to you guys with crazy ideas, crazy visions of this is what I see?
Not yet, but maybe
he will.
I hope.
I'm sure
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I think they'll be. That's the thing, Craig knows if there's one thing Craig's going to know well, it's going to be how to manage a bullpen. So, I mean, we're thrilled to have him as our manager, and having Fritz and Ruben back is huge. I mean, it's no secret what they do for every pitcher on this team and everybody that comes through this org.
Everybody says that about Ruben Niebla, everybody from every other organization. What is it about Ruben that makes him so special? Because there's 20 different personalities down there that you got to manage, as a skipper does as well. But, pitchers are a different breed. They can be, especially those lefties, right?
Yeah, we're weirdos.
Weird dudes.
Yeah.
What is it that he does differently than maybe some other guys you've worked with?
Yeah, I think this is true of any good coach, but what Ruben does times 10 is that he cares about us personally. He cares about our lives. He cares about our families and us as a person. And so that drives him to be obsessive about how can we make him better for the team and for him personally. So, and the same is said about our whole staff with Fritz and Stamon and everybody. It's when you care about a person as a human, you'll do whatever it takes because you're like a family in there. We see each other more than we see our families in season. And so they'll stop at nothing to help us find success.
Jason, clearly things will be a little different with Robert Suarez gone to Atlanta, but I don't think anyone's too concerned. Mason Miller, Jeremiah Estrada, Adrian Morejón, and hopefully yourself, sometime early in the season. But how do you approach that knowing that multiple people will have to be in different sort of roles in the bullpen?
Yeah, I think we all love it. We love it. It's that was kind of some of the fun down the stretch last year is roles were getting moved around, but as a bullpen, you're just trying to take on the mentality of whenever you call for me, I'll be ready. And so there'll be communication that goes into that with the staff, but every one of us out there from top to bottom, we don't care what inning, we don't care the situation. We just want to put up zeros.
About Mason Miller, obviously a lot of those guys in your bullpen around baseball relievers throw hard.
Yeah,
that guy's kind of a freak. What do you see when he's on the mound and just he's lighting it up at 103, 104? I mean, where does that come from?
I have no clue. Yeah, if I knew, I would do it. Yeah, no, it's fun to watch. We're all little kids at heart, and when you see the radar gun light up like that, it gets you giddy. But he's a dog on the mound too. You see plenty of guys that throw hard and they get lit up. It's not him. He knows how to dominate a hitter. He's got the mentality. He's got the pitch execution, and he's throwing 104. So good luck.
He's nasty.
So how about off the field in this offseason? Anything you've been up to? I saw some of your teammates were at the black. Did you go to the black tie event last night?
I did, and I didn't wear a tie, so I blew that.
I mean, everyone was dressed up.
I was thinking black tie optional, but
it is San Diego after all.
Right. We did that. That was great. Great event for Todd. He loved what he's doing.
And then the community events yesterday.
Anything,
what were some of your stops? And I know that was pretty spectacular for fans and kids.
The Padres
everywhere.
do such a good job of giving us opportunities to serve and give back to the community that gives so much to us. So getting to take anytime we get a chance to take part in that, we all want to do it. And it's a team that's pretty unique, and how many guys are doing things they're passionate about to serve communities and serve people that might need a little bit of help. So, I think you saw a lot of that throughout the offseason from everybody. It's really cool.
And then heading out to spring training, probably a little over a week or so?
Yeah, the 9th or 10th. Yeah. So I'll head over. My wife's about to pop with our next baby.
No way.
Yeah.
How many will that be?
5.
That's your 5th.
5, yeah.
Holy
That's why I have to play till I'm like 45.
Yeah. You better really, really take care of yourself. Holy cow. That's amazing. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's big. Any now she's got to be kind of 5 is really no different than 4 is no different than, you know what I mean? Like,
that's what we're hoping. Yeah.
She's like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Pack up. Go play baseball with your friends.
Yeah, I'll get a 3-day vacation when the baby comes.
I'll be here. Oh my gosh! I think it's very obvious. Mrs. Adam is the real MVP.
Yeah,
here.
That's for sure.
Do you know boy or girl yet?
We don't. No, it's all girls so far. So I'm kind of thinking we're hitting copy paste again.
Bro.
But yeah, we're doing a surprise.
4 girls and maybe we don't know.
Maybe another one.
It's any day now, right?
She's got she probably needs to wait 1 or 2 more weeks before we get to any day. But yeah, we're getting close.
Right when you get settled into Peoria. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll be turning right back around.
Dude, thank you so much, and warmest congratulations. And I guess Dad's strength for you will be absolutely real.
Maybe that'll give me to 104 like Mason.
Throw 100%. Thank you so much for coming out. Such a pleasure to meet you.
Big round of applause.
Jason Adam.
Looking forward to it, and obviously good news with the rehab and back on the mound. Adam, I think someone's going to take a picture here of us while we're on the air, but truly spectacular news that the rehab is going so well, and excited to see Jason Adam back on the mound for the San Diego Padres, hopefully sometime early this season. Jason, good to see you again. Thank you so much. Again, we are live at Section 113 or at Padres FanFest. Broadcasting live. We'll be here until 12 o'clock, and then Braden and Frank show from 12 to 2, and then the Gwen and Chris program from 2 to 4 this afternoon. Stop on by and put your name into our hopper. We're going to be giving away some autographed baseballs, including a Michael King autographed baseball during our show at the end of our program around 12 o'clock. So make sure you get your entry into our hopper. We'll be drawing for some prizes a little bit later, but just a spectacular atmosphere here. Why don't we take our first time out? We will come back and kind of set the stage for what else is coming up here between now and noon with Ben and Woods live from Padres FanFest on San Diego's #1 sports station.
97.
Hey player, this is all yours. This room with this view. This speakeasy with this cocktail. Hey, could you make that too? The spa with this. Ah. And this pool on this roof. This is all for you. The all-new Hamul Casino Resort, now open.
Fan, live from Padres FanFest. You guys can make some noise out there. You're at a baseball field. After all, great to be here this morning. Holy smokes, man. What?
Okay, we're going to.
What is that?
Hey. All right.
Oh, Jimi Hendrix is here. He's about to play the national anthem. So cool.
Little feedback loop.
Yeah, this is amazing. Already, we're drinking from the fire hose a little bit out here at Padres FanFest.
Already had Jason Adams stopping by a little earlier than we expected, but it's a good way to start our day and start the show. And 6 straight hours of live broadcast here on 97.3 The Fan.
What was happening?
It's loud. Yes, FanFest. It's busy. It's loud.
It's insane.
Quick takeaways from Jason Adam. Obviously, great news on how the rehab is going.
Yep.
Already pitching, throwing off a mound, which I think a lot of the speculation was he might not be back until June or July. But given that news, I would be surprised if it wasn't quite a bit sooner.
When it happened, everyone's like, all right, next September, Jason Adams back. And then word started to trickle in. You're like, actually, it is bad. But he got on a really they got surgery quickly, got good surgery. It came through it well and got on a really quick plan. And the next thing you know, he's throwing bullpens, man. And we were all kind of penciling him in for maybe an all-star break return. And we don't know what's going to happen. There could be setbacks, obviously, but it's so encouraging that he's already thrown a bunch of bullpens and the knee feels great.
And with, obviously Mason Miller and Jeremiah Estrada and Adrian Morejon, you feel pretty comfortable protecting, a 3-run lead in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning on a normal day. And then you add Jason Adam back to the mix.
Nasty.
You'll have that same combination where you can give your closers day off because you've got multiple closer-type arms in your bullpen going into this season, which is why A.J. Preller said he really didn't want to deal away from his strength, the bullpen. He wanted to keep it as strong as possible, even without Robert Suarez, and it should be the biggest strength of the Padres going into this season.
Think about how many times Schilt went to Jason Adam last year in a spot where you needed him to come. I mean, to where it was almost uncomfortable at times. You're like, all right, man, this is like he was so reliable, and he kept getting the job done almost every time out, man. So, of course, a skipper's going to look down there and go, I got to do it. He told me he's good to go, and I got to ride with this guy. And I mean, he's been invaluable for this franchise. So to get him back, even with an idea that he's going to be ready for potentially, opening day, maybe games in April or May would be excellent.
And it was such a freak injury.
Yeah.
It wasn't an overuse.
Wasn't an overuse thing.
It was just a bad step, coming off the mound there that cost him the rest of the season. I felt bad for him having to watch the playoffs and not be able to contribute. But as he said,
feeling.
It wasn't the bullpen that was the issue for the Padres and not getting past the Cubs. They gave them every shot to win that series. They just couldn't get enough runs on the board.
Yeah. Offense.
And that is, again, I think the key issue going into this season.
Sure.
Clearly, starting pitching depth, we've talked a lot about on our show the last few months, but you got to find a way to score more runs. You have the superstars to do it. The question is, can you come through and actually put more runs on the scoreboard this season?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see kind of the offensive identity of this team as it, again, new skipper, new offensive coordinator, new hitting coach. I mean, it's different again. And Manny, Jackson, Toddy, all the guys that have been here that have produced in their careers. Well, here we go again. There's a couple of new voices. What's the identity of this team going to be? Is it going to – I really hope it's not the same identity as it was last year of, hey, man, we got the leadoff guy in the first on. Let's get him over, try to get a 1-0 lead, and then just ride our bullpen and hope to pull that out. I'd like to let these guys eat a little bit. I really would. They're all capable of it.
I want to see the best hitters getting up as much as possible.
100%.
And I felt like if there was one thing that Mike Schilt left on the table last year, it was at-bats from Ramon Laureano, hitting 7th in the lineup.
Not playing O'Hearn.
Whereas Luis Arraez was still constantly batting 2nd throughout the end of the season. And again, not a knock on Luis Arraez. In fact, still wouldn't be shocked if he ends up coming back to the San Diego Padres. But you have to get your better bats up more often at the top of the order. String those guys together. It's really the only surefire way to add to your offense is get your best guys up in sequence as many times as possible over the course of the season.
Yeah, it's such a good point. And, I mean, the numbers were there to back that up last year of, like, this is not working. it's just not working. And you saw the slug numbers were way down. The home runs were way down, 29th last year in home runs. I saw our projections came out. I think it was Zips that did it. I was scrolling through Twitter last night, and I think it said it had the Padres right around 19, which I went, oh, man. And then I go, well, that's 10 spots better than last year. So there's really legitimately nowhere to go but up.
And that's without adding.
That's without adding
anyone,
anybody.
really. I mean, a full
That's
season
actually
of
losing.
Laureano.
That's losing a guy like Ryan O'Hearn. That's losing. Who else did we lose? But
Rise and O'Hearn are the main guys.
Yeah,
but yeah,
exactly. So, you look at that and go, if we jump 10 spots in home runs, fine. But you do want to be in that probably top 15 at least.
There will be, I think, regression or progression from what was a little bit odd last year. The Padres should not have been 29th in home runs.
Absolutely
but you just can't count on that. You also have to instill it, make it happen. This is a team that needs to hit more home runs this season.
And they need to go, right-handers need to go right above that Cannell sign out there and that FanFest, welcome to Padres FanFest, the pulled home run last year. We talked to, all the guys about it. We talked to, Saris about it. It's like these guys have the ability to pull the baseball, but they were all in Oppo mode. Oppo is state of mind out there. And hey, listen, it's great. Like when Manny's locked in, he's going Oppo. But, Jackson needs to go that way. Toddy needs to go that way. And let the chips fall where they may, man. You may sacrifice a few hits throughout the season, but we got to get these big dogs to be big dogs again. That's what we need.
Yep. Xander was showing good signs, and especially the second half of last season, that he still has full power.
Yep.
Not 35 home run power, but he can get you 20 if he's, consistently driving the ball to the left side. Obviously, Fernando Tatis Jr., he's healthy. He can be a 40 to 50 home run hitter. We didn't see it last year, for various reasons. Went just through a really worse slump of his career in the middle of the season. Hopefully you don't have to live through that again. But, Manny's going to give you his 29 or 30 as he always does. I don't really expect anything different. I do expect Jackson Merrill with a healthy season to show us what he was showing again at the end of last year. He's got big power.
Yeah.
He's got surprisingly big power. He can go to center. He can drive and pull. He can even go oppo. Even here at Petco Park, he can drive it over those signs going the other way when he needs to. I think he's got 30-plus home run power in him, especially, again, as he gets to, age 22, 23.
He's still growing.
He's still growing.
Yeah.
I mean, he's still growing into his body, into his frame. I see great power potential now from Jackson Merrill.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're just asking some of these guys to be a little bit better than you were last year. You're not asking for Gavin Sheets, hey, man, I'm going to need 35 from you. You're asking these guys to be a little bit better,
that. Yeah,
right?
You can't ask that.
You can't ask for
it'd
the
be nice if
anomaly.
Gavin Sheets has another decent season. To me, that's another, 18
25,
to 25 home runs for Gavin Sheets, mostly probably out of the designated hitter slot. Play a little first base. They need one more bat there.
You got to get another
DH,
bat.
first baseman. They need another bat. Right now, I'm looking at the depth chart as projected. As Sungwon Song at first base, Gavin Sheets is DH, and Jake Cronenworth with really no backups to speak of whatsoever. Luis Campusano is the backup catcher and the backup DH, and we don't even know if he can hit on the major league level consistently. Right. And right now you got him listed as the backup at two major starting positions. That's not enough. That's not going to cut it. We keep hearing that AJ Preller is involved. He was a finalist. They just had a signing this morning. Was it Austin Hayes? I think was apparently the Padres were in the mix. Outfielder, but someone, it's a bat that you can put in the lineup. I ended up going to the White Sox, but
why?
AJ Preller continued. Oh, probably because they offered him more money. I mean, you don't want to overpay for Austin Hayes. 6, I think.
Oh, all right.
But, you don't want to overpay for Austin Hayes, they're in the mix for some of these guys. They're looking to add a bat still before the start of the season, maybe even before the start of spring training.
Be in the mix for Eugenio Suarez. That's the mix that I want to be in. I want to
just hear nothing about that.
Literally nothing. I mean, no one's even talking about
Suarez. Nothing about Arise. Nope. Just really quiet for this late in the offseason. Surprisingly, how quiet some of the rumor mills are around some of these guys.
And again, I not knowing what the checkbook has in the balance, I have no idea. But let's not overthink it. It's not one of those things you need to overthink. You need to look at what you're lacking and say, all right, well, A plus B equals C, and that's here, 1 year deal, 1 year with an option. Give him a bunch of opt-outs. Give him, whatever he wants, but get him here DHing for this team, spelling guys at first base, and hitting 40 home runs, which is like his baseline is like 35 every year.
I wonder. I mean, obviously, everyone loves playing in San Diego, but if you're trying to prove it and hit home runs, is that
dude can hit them out of anywhere?
He can
anywhere.
Certainly, but you can
He
hit
doesn't need
more.
to prove anything.
He doesn't need to prove.
Well, then why isn't he getting his 4 or
know.
5 year deal?
But
Why didn't he get the Schwarber deal? You know what I mean? I know he's older.
or even the Pete Alonso deal.
And I know he's older. Again, he went through a horrible slump when he got traded last year, but you saw him in the playoffs. It's big home runs for them. So, again, he's a home run hitter. You need home runs. You need slug badly on this team. I think he is a game changer for this lineup. I really do. Game changer.
The biggest one out there.
The biggest one out there.
The best possible fit, lineup-wise,
No question.
position-wise for the Padres
No
with what they need is probably Eugenio Suarez.
Yeah, no
I don't
question
know
about
if they can get him.
I don't either, but I wish they would try.
But he's still out there. He's still out there. All right, let's take a time out. We're at the bottom of the hour. We got Kyle with the dials back in the studio. Appreciate him. But we are live at Padres FanFest. Again, come out and see us. We're at the top of section 115, right above the field level. We've got a prize hopper to give away, a signed Michael King baseball.
Yeah, you
at
guys
the
can
end of our
sign up right
program,
now.
so you can sign up right now. We'll take a quick time out. Back with more. We've got Craig Stamon coming in our 11 o'clock hour, stopping by the new manager of the San Diego Padres here on 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back.
The new
Back live, Padres FanFest. It is Ben and Woods. We are broadcasting until 12 o'clock from section 113, just above the field level. And I did a little tour around FanFest this morning, Woods, when I got here. Already were a lot of people inside the gates just after 9 o'clock. People lined up for autograph sessions around the ballpark. Lots of kids running the bases out on the field.
It's crazy.
What always seems to be one of the biggest areas at FanFest is the garage sale.
Oh, yeah.
For the Padres Foundation. I peeked over the railing just to our left and saw all the aisles of all the, unclaimed promotional items and older gear that you can go. And you can buy it today, and the proceeds do benefit the Padres Foundation, which is really cool. It's a great way for the Padres to clear out some of the old merch and make way for new stuff. We just had the promotional calendar reveal on our show last week with all the new merch and all the giveaways that are going to be coming this season. Pretty spectacular, but they still got a big haul of some of the leftover stuff that they can get rid of today for a good cause. And I see fans with just big, giant plastic bags filled with merchandise here today.
This has been great. Our buddy just came up and said the line was literally down to bubs. They said, but it moved fast. They're getting people in. People, the smiles are everywhere. Everyone's excited. We haven't played a game yet. But you're still, again, excited about what this team can accomplish on the field. We were walking in, Bo and I were, and it's always cool when you walk from the parking lot and, you got the guys' pictures on the windows, and it's Merrill, and it's Manny, and it's Toddy, and it's Xander, and you're like, okay, this is a great core. What can we do with it this season? And, with a really, really good bullpen and, a starting staff that, if healthy, is pretty nasty. That's why everyone's smiling and excited.
Yeah, we talked about, the offense in our last segment. Let's talk about the starting pitching a little bit here. I think so much rests on Michael King's shoulders now. They got him back. I'm glad they got him back. I don't think there's any real doubt that Michael King can still be a top-of-the-game pitcher. Just hopefully he stays healthy and gets right back into the groove. He was looking like he was going to have a good season before he got derailed by the nerve issue in his shoulder.
Michael King is a straight-up ace.
I think so,
He's
too.
He's a straight-up ace when he is healthy. Legitimately, he's had some starts in a Padres uniform that will blown your mind. He is an ace when healthy. If he can get back to, feeling better and going out every fifth day. He is an ace.
Michael King never really had the struggles that Dylan Cease went through.
No.
It bit times last year. And again, we'll miss Dylan Cease. There's a reason he got $210 million from the Toronto Blue Jays. The durability, the strikeouts are valuable in baseball. But to me, he went through so many more struggles than Michael King ever did. When Michael King was healthy, you could count on him to probably win you a ball game. You give him a minimal amount of offense, he's going to go out and win most of those ball games for you when he's on the mound. He just is.
I believed in the stuff of Dylan Cease always because it was there. Obviously, Toronto did too. With Dylan Cease, it did every day. You're like, you had to brace yourself. It was like Blake Snell when Blake Snell was here. You had to mentally talk yourself into, I want to watch and enjoy this baseball game today. And these guys make it very difficult to do because they're constantly nibbling. They're constantly not trusting the ridiculous stuff that they have. And one error behind them, Xander would boot one or Manny would boot one, done. You're done. There was just no getting back from it seemingly every time. That's another area of the San Diego Padres, I think, this year that needs to be a focus, is cleaning up the defense.
Yeah, I think so. I was going to transition to say Nick Pivetta didn't have that problem.
Nick
Pivetta is mentally as strong as you're going to get on the mound. And I think some around baseball wonder if last year was a bit of a one-off fluke. He wasn't that kind of pitcher before in Boston. He was good, but he was certainly not as good as we saw last season. So is he going to regress back to what he was before, or is he going to continue being what he was last year for the Padres? What I see is a guy who turned a corner, working with Ruben Niebla, coming to a better pitcher's park here in San Diego, gained more confidence, and now he walks around like he's an ace. He may not be a true top of the rotation ace, but he walks around like one, and you feel like you've kind of got one on the mound when he starts. And I don't see that changing this year. I don't see some big step back season from Nick Pivetta. I think he picks up where he left off. He knows this is potentially a contract drive season for him as well. He can opt out at the end of the year. He has 2 good seasons in a row. Nick Pivetta is going to make a Dylan Cease-like contract on the open market possibly at the end of this season. So I have full confidence that Michael King and Nick Pivetta are going to have really good years.
And Joe Musgrove obviously is I don't even want to call him a question mark because, I think he would even tell you, I'm a question mark till I get out there and take the ball every 5 days. He's going to put the work in. The effort's going to be there. That's kind of, as a fan, it's kind of all I can ask for. You know what I mean? Like, go out and pitch to your capabilities once your body is healthy and ready to go. And we'll let the chips fall where they may behind Joe Musgrove. So,
with Joe, any pitcher coming off a major surgery, has some stuff to prove and is going to take some time to get back into the groove. But, who would you rather ask to be in that situation? Right. He's healthy. We've talked to him. He's had his time to rehab. He's now just in ramp up for the season. He's already gone through I kind of, feeling what my arm feels like post Tommy John. He's been doing that for 3 or 4 months now. Now he's simply getting ready for the season. And you just trust Joe more than anybody else to kind of pick up where he left off and be the kind of guy. If you're asking him to be a number 3, that's fantastic. Most teams don't have a number 3 like a Joe Musgrove, even one coming off surgery.
And, if you look across baseball at some of the starting rotations, there's some deep ones out there. There's some really, really deep rotations out there with young guys maybe kind of knocking at the door. That's what makes it a little bit going into the season, biting your fingernails a little bit, is that the guys that we do have, the guys that are there, yes, a couple of them are coming off of injury even, you could see it spiral. I don't want to take a turn to negative town, but health is paramount. And I know it is to every baseball team, but really we don't have the luxury to be able to take one of those guys, stick them on the IL for 6 months until they're ready for the playoffs, because we're going to need those guys to get, even into the dance. So it's probably paramount that AJ Preller add a couple of more arms.
I agree.
Again.
I agree.
Ride your bullpen. That is your absolute strength of this team. Ride your bullpen early and hope that some of these starters are healthy and round into form in the second half.
But I'm also optimistic about the back end of the rotation as it stands right now, with Randy Vasquez as the 4. I assume, some people have heard us Some people have heard us talking about Randy Vasquez, but got some inside info from Ruben Niebla this offseason that last year Randy was not where they wanted him to be going into the season. And it showed. The velocity was down. It was kind of a rough watch. He battled his way through, but it was a rough watch. And then by the end of the season, Randy Vasquez was looking really sharp at the end of the year. He's a battler, but he actually had the stuff to go with it. Ruben says this year, different offseason, that Randy has put in the work. He's looked sharp, and he expects him to come to spring training ready to rock and roll. That's a solid number 4 starter if you're getting that from Randy Vasquez.
Yep, and then JP Sears, you got a little info on as well. I don't think any Padres fan was super impressed with JP Sears, came over in the trade, kind of soft-tossing lefty. But, the one thing I didn't know about JP Sears that Ruben filled us in on is that he is a insane competitor, wants to be great. And listen, again, from your 5, if you can get a guy like JP Sears that goes out and competes and gives you 4 1/3, bro, you sign up for it every single time.
He's added a new pitch. Was working on it late last season, debuted it in that last start against Arizona, a cutter that does cut, and, it can be a weapon for him going forward. Again, you're not asking Randy Vasquez and JP Sears to go and win 20 games to be all-stars. If you can get a 4 and a 5 starter who throw 150 innings, who, give you a slightly above 500 record and an ERA in the 3.5 to 4 range, you're ahead of pretty much every other organization in Major League Baseball, other than maybe the one that plays up north.
The problem is, though, again, all 5 of those guys have to stay healthy and make their starts. Because after that, it gets very lean. You're looking at Waldron and Hart and Marco Gonzalez and guys like that. And listen, again, paramount for AJ Preller. Trust me, he's not sitting on his ass not want to sign pitchers. That's one thing we do know. He is going to be scouring it. They will add 5 more arms, I'm sure, that we'll see in Peoria here in a few weeks.
Yeah, there are not that many options beyond the 5 right now. They added Marco Gonzalez this week. If you missed that story, minor league contract for a veteran left-hander who, had some success, but it was It was a decade ago that he was a good pitcher. Now,
it's crazy.
he's never really been worse than a 4 to 4.5 ERA guy when he's been out there. He's been, battled Tommy John surgery, missed all of last season with flexor tendon surgery. Is there anything left in the tank? I don't know. AJ saw something scouting him and thought that he might be able to add something to the mix. We'll see. To me, that's a bit more of a lottery ticket than anything for the Padres right now. But he's an option. Matt Waldron still remains in the mix somewhere. We didn't see a lot of him last year after they needed so much of him in 2024. Very little Matt Waldron last year. I don't know what direction he's going. I'm not going to count on him for a ton, but yeah, not enough depth behind your and you haven't converted really any of the relievers.
No.
All that talk about a converted reliever becoming a starter. Have not seen it yet. Not for David Morgan, not for any of the other guys, Ron Marinacci. I don't know. Is there anyone else that might get a look in spring training as a starter? We can
ask the deal with
ask the skipper.
I'm going to ask the skipper about one Brian Hoeing, because the long man we acquired a couple of years ago. He got injured last year, but he was really effective. I did see somebody tweet the other day. Is he a candidate for
starting
to start, maybe spot start? But I haven't heard any update on his health or anything or how he's doing. He's still here, right? I mean, he's still a San Diego Padre. Is he on the 40-man?
He's on the 40-man.
So,
he is absolutely eligible. We will see him at spring training. What is his role? I have no idea. I mean, he was a really good pitcher when he came over from the Rays. Was very effective in the bullpen in 2024. Got hurt and just never really got a chance to get going in 2025. I'm very curious. What can Brian Hoeing be for the Padres? Alec Jacob is still on this team.
I heard he's throwing a little harder this year. That's the news I got.
What's the plan for him? Plus, you made a couple of other signings like Dyson Acosta, Ty Adcock.
Yeah.
Are they potential starters? Or are they just bullpen relievers? Lot to be worked out once the Padres get to spring training here in about 10 days.
Well, listen, make sure you get down here to FanFest today. Open till when?
I think they're going until 4 o'clock. You've got the 10 to 1 and the 1 to 4 tickets. You had to claim them online. Remember, in advance. It is free to attend, but you do need a ticket to get in here to Petco Park today. So
they got all the food. Like, look over here. Our boss Adam is just.
What are we working on over there?
Yeah, what are we crushing there?
What is that?
Barbecue fries.
Brisket fries. Well, we're across from Grand Ole Barbecue, so that makes a lot of sense.
Bo's been working a churro over here for about a churro, and a strawberry lemonade.
Yeah.
Uncle Ben had to buy it for him because I left my wallet in the car.
All right, so let's see. Offset
That's
from
your Christmas
the
present.
Morrissey tickets.
You're $375 now.
All right, so now I'm down to $375.
Down to $375.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, sir.
This is just going to go on all year long, isn't it?
Yep, it is.
He just stole some of your churro, and you didn't even see it.
He don't care.
Totally stole it.
He don't care.
Dads do that. Dads have the authority to do that.
So many tier ones down here saying hello.
This is crazy.
It's been amazing, man.
You guys are the best.
Got to sign a couple of autographs, which is always weird.
Yeah, and tons of selfies. I mean, every time we take a break, we appreciate it. We get a lot of selfie requests.
I appreciate it.
What do you mean? I don't appreciate it?
He gets a little nervous when we're about to come back on the air, and he's still taking pictures. He gets a little
Someone
dicey.
has to pay attention to what's going on.
You weren't, though. You were on your phone, and Woods goes, hey, it's picture time, not phone time.
It's not phone time. You're checking the Aztec score, I bet.
Maybe once or twice.
Wow. How are the Aztecs doing then?
They were winning the last time I checked, but now they're still winning. Yeah. So we'll talk about that on Monday morning, though. What about the rest of the division, Woods? We went through the Padres roster. Any changes?
I was thinking about it this morning. That the NL West is going to be nasty, dude. Everybody has made improvements. Other than the Rockies, really. Like when I say the NL West, I mean of course the Dodgers, the Padres, the Giants, and the Diamondbacks. They've got those three. They got the Giants, Diamondbacks, and Padres all within about a game of each other in the West. And we know projections are projections. Padres outplayed their projections last year. Diamondbacks well underplayed theirs. But like everybody looks like I don't think the Diamondbacks are going to be the sleepy Diamondbacks again. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I mean, they were, and then they traded away Eugenio Suarez. They haven't got,
and they played much better.
They did. That's true. I mean, still have Corbin Carroll, who's a superstar anchoring that team. They kept Ketel Marte, so they've got their core of superstars.
They added Arenado, which I don't know what he's going to be able to bring.
I just don't know.
They got Geraldo Perdomo, who's nasty.
So the Dodgers and the Rockies are obviously outliers on their side.
Yeah.
So it really comes down to the 3 teams.
Just like last year, man. We said it all year.
You know, I'd be surprised if the second-place team in the NL West didn't make the playoffs. So
Yes.
if you can finish ahead of the Giants and the Diamondbacks, your path to the playoffs is pretty open.
Giants low key scare me too.
Well, you know, projections-wise, if you're a Giants fan, though, do you think your team has done enough to be better than the Padres now? I don't know that I would if I was a Giants fan. You finished 9 games behind them last year or whatever. Have you made up that ground on the San Diego Padres? If you're the Diamondbacks, have you made up that ground you need to make up on the San Diego Padres? Because I don't think the Padres are coming
Do you think the
crashing
Padres are
down
going
to
to stay
earth.
right where they're at?
I think they're close to where they were at. I mean, with Fermin and Laureano a full season, again, we don't know what other moves are going to be coming, but I don't see a big step back from the Padres. So one of those teams is going to have to step up in a fairly big way from last year if they're going to compete and pass the Padres.
I remain just fascinated by the San Francisco Giants, and it's because of their new skipper, Tony Vitello, the face man, right? Just the complete college baseball coach, now coaching in the big leagues. He's never done it. At least our skipper has played in the big leagues before, has commanded a room, and has commanded respect out of the guys in his room. To get a college coach in there like Tony Vitello, I'm endlessly fascinated. I'm not saying it's not going to work. I'm not saying it's going to work. I don't know if I'm a Giants fan. If I'm like, I got no idea how this thing is going to go. I really
Buster,
don't.
we trust,
And like
I guess.
some of these old school players too, they're going to be like, "Hey, why don't you relax a little bit? You know, like take it down a notch. We're not doing a chance in the dugout like we do in
It can work
Tennessee."
like it worked with Jace Tingler, which it did in the short season. You know, and Jace Tingler was a good guy. I think players liked him. But the problem with a manager like Tingler or Tony Vitello is that what happens when things aren't going well?
Correct.
How quickly do players lose confidence and go, yeah, we've lost 9 of 11, and I'm not sure our manager knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the Padres will have to worry about that too much. They didn't have to worry about it with Schilt.
Right.
Everybody knew, you know, whatever you thought of Schilt, knows what he's doing, at least as a manager.
But I think that,
and I don't think they're going to worry too much about Craig Stamon because he's so tight with all of them. They're not going to go, oh, this guy's a Yahoo who doesn't know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I feel like they're in good shape there.
yeah, for sure. And
Now, the Diamondbacks have a great manager.
they have
We love
a great
Troy Lavella.
manager. 100%.
You know, they're not gonna lose games because of their manager. We know that. Giants are a question mark, though.
Giants are a huge question. I'm fascinated. Like, I know they're in our division. I don't loathe them the way that I loathe the team in LA. They endlessly fascinate me. The personalities, the what are we? Like, have we, like, they,
Aren't you shocked that Buster Posey's the one who chose that manager?
Yes, I'm shocked.
He didn't go with like
With
a former
Tim
catcher
Flannery or
someone,
something. Like, you know what I mean?
Like a
Like,
more known commodity in Major League Baseball, someone that he had
I'm
played with
shocked.
or had coached or played under. I was very surprised
I mean,
because
I
I
guess-
did not read that from Buster Posey.
Ownership must be incredibly faithful to Buster Posey. You know
Correct.
what I mean? Like, he must have so much confidence
Yeah.
in him and they that they're like, all right, let's see what you got.
you give them enough rope, they say, man, like that, like they're going to let him make these decisions. And again, I'm going to be watching them a lot because I'm fascinated at how the dynamics are going to go. I just am. I'm very, very curious as to how it's going to go in San Francisco. We know what LA is going to be, guys. We know what LA is going to be. They're going to be a juggernaut. They're not going to be the best baseball team in May, June, July, because I think, honestly, human nature is we've just won the last 2. We're freaking exhausted after the World Series we just played. We are in no rush to go out and set some single season win record. They can fall out of bed and win the division. That's a weird feeling. How do you get motivated for a day game in May knowing we're going to win this division, right?
All right, quick first hour in the books. We're here for one more hour. And remember, at some point in our 11 o'clock
11:30.
hour, 11:30-ish, Craig Stamon will be stopping by right here at our table, section 113 of Padres FanFest. It's Ben Woods and Paul here until noon on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back. live from Padres FanFest, hour number 2. Ben and Woods. We're going until noon today. We're live from section 113, just at the top of the field level. We've got lots of fans and tier ones. We're just across from Grand Ole Barbecue. If you want to find us, make sure you come by our table, our tent, and put your name into our hopper. We've got autographed baseball drawings all afternoon, starting with a Michael King autographed baseball coming up at the top of the hour at noon as soon as our show is over. And then Braden Chilby, noon to 2, and then the Gwen and Chris program from 2 to 4 this afternoon. Lots of different Padres guests coming by, including the manager, Craig Stamon, the new skipper of the Padres this hour at around 11:30. He's going to stop by at our table and talk to us and some of the fans around here.
These guys have been busy the last 48 hours or so. They had all the community stuff yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Toddy's black tie event looked amazing. Don Orsillo posted a picture of him and Fernando Tatis Jr., and it was a whole lot of handsome in one picture, man.
Toddy wearing the kind of Elton John kind of glasses, the color.
And he had like a was it cream suit or
it's
something?
Almost like a burgundy, like a light burgundy.
Yeah.
It was
It's unreal.
very attractive, very
They have
handsome
this
man.
like street artist there that I saw that I followed on Instagram for a while, where he does these like 10-minute paintings, and they look unbelievably good. And they flew him out, and he was there doing he's like, I'll paint Tatis in 10 minutes or less
So
on stage,
sick.
and he just throws paint and does it all with his hands. It's so good.
I love that. And is this a relatively new foundation?
Brand new.
Brand new.
Yeah,
Was last night the first event?
It's brand new. I think that was the first major event that he's ever really put on. And, it's a
Plenty
new,
of Johnny Walker there.
It's a new phase, Fernando Tatis Jr. trying to grow into being a baseball superstar. This is what you do when you're sign a large contract. You try to do something that you're passionate about and give back to the community.
Now,
and you throw events like this. So.
What would the Ben Higgins Foundation look like? That's what I want to know.
I mean, it'd probably be a golf tournament every year. The problem is we try to do golf tournaments, and they're so dang hard to put
They are
on
so hard to
that
put
we
on.
can't commit to one every single year.
I know. Well, the pictures look great. Those guys, they were jamming, man. It was nice to see, Fernando out in the community yesterday, hanging with the kids, and then going to do the event at night. I love guys that give back. We love giving back as much as we can.
Yeah, the buses of players getting
So
out
cool.
into the community yesterday and all the different events that they went to, different classrooms, senior centers, everything that they did. You remember, I mean, obviously it doesn't seem like a lot. It's like, hey, you're a baseball player, you're getting a ton of money, it's one day in the off season. Why wouldn't you say yes? But you don't see every team doing what the Padres do every off season. And I think it really does help forge that relationship between the San Diego community and the San Diego Padres. It's one thing that they've been really good about, especially since, the Peter Seidler ownership days started, is making that connection with the community, making it important. It's not just a lot of teams will do an event, or they'll do one thing for an hour or so, and then they'll just call it we're good. The Padres do their holiday caravan. I mean, day after day of different events.
Yeah, the bikes.
Yesterday they do the bikes, they do shopping with the kids, and then you think, okay, they did it. Holidays are over, and then they come back before FanFest and do another major round of community events. They go way above
dinner
and
on the
beyond.
diamond, on their one-off night that week. They're here having dinner on the field.
But I think this is their city, man, and they have certainly won over a lot of hearts and minds in town, and I love that stuff. I think I always say all the time how much I like eyewash. Not that that's eyewash, but I think it's good. I think you should be doing that if you're a major sports team and you're in the city and you're really the only major of the major four. You got to own the city, and that's exactly what they do.
It's good because it's the right thing to do, but there's also a return on their investment.
100%.
Look at this.
Look around, man.
Look at FanFest and the number of people that come out. Look at spring training. When we go to Peoria, we'll be there February 22nd through the 25th. There are so many more. I used to go to Padres spring training 25 years ago. I mean, there'd be 4 Padres fans that would be out there. It's like there's no one there. Now every game is almost essentially sold out, and the backfields are crowded with autograph seekers and diehard fans who are crowding around just trying to get a glimpse of these guys working out to start the season. It didn't used to be like that. There was nobody out there. It was a ghost town. Peoria was a ghost town in the early 2000s, and now major changes. They've captivated the city, and just creating new generations of Padres fans, like your Bo, who's just sitting there staring, watching highlight loops.
He's watching all of the Padres home runs from last year. It won't take him very long, actually. So he's going to have some time to kill there. But no, man, I go pick up him and his brother from school every day. Every freaking kid is in a Padres hat, Padres jersey. I mean, it's smart. It's very smart what they've done. The success on the field as relative to the regular season is very important. If this team can find a way to get in, do some damage, be healthy at the right time, have a couple of things go their way. They've had a couple of really unfortunate situations. And last year with Laureano getting hurt, I feel like it decimated this team. I feel like Jason Adam getting hurt as well. Yeah. You can't lose guys like that going into the postseason, and we did. And then obviously the year before, one of the best hitting teams in baseball just stops. They just stop. Now, again, you run up against a guy like Yamamoto, who is absolutely one of the filthiest pitchers in baseball, and proved that offseason or that postseason, proved it this postseason.
I believe that when they beat him early in that series is the last time he lost.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It feels like
what it feels like.
It does feel like it. Certainly in the postseason. The guy at that point, Game 5 after that, is locked in, especially in the postseason. It's really any pitcher we've seen in the modern era.
You've always told the story, like the '84 Padres. He just happened to run up against one of the best teams in history in the Detroit Tigers with Lou Whitaker and Alan Trammell. Nobody's beaten that team. Then you run up against the '98 Yankees. Nobody's beaten that team ever. And it's like, all right, man, when can we get a nice soft draw here? When do we get that Brewers that bat 103 in the entire series? You know what I mean? Like, it was crazy. I watched the clip the other day. Pat Murphy was doing an interview. He goes, man, we got really close last year. I'm like, no, you didn't. You didn't get close at all. You guys got your doors blown off and batted about $150 after being the best team in baseball. I think that goes to show you how difficult the postseason is, how good the Dodgers were. And, listen, man, if you're the Brewers, it happens to the best of them. They were the nastiest offensive team. Like, they were gross all year long. They get there, they go up against L.A., and they fall apart.
I feel like the only postseason break the Padres have ever really gotten was that wild card series against the Braves a couple of years ago.
When they were like sick and hurt, and guys were like, I don't really want to play. Like, Chris Sale couldn't go.
No one could go.
Bro, that's such a good point. Every other postseason series I've ever watched, I've been sick to my stomach. I've been chewing a towel like Jerry Tarkanian. That series, I was like, I can get drunk and watch these games. Like, these guys aren't going to get close.
Finally, something going our way.
I wasn't even nervous. I was not even nervous, man, at all about that. But, listen, you got to crawl before you walk. And you obviously got to get to the postseason this year. We're going to be talking to the guy that has been tabbed to get us there here in a few minutes.
And apparently he's coming by momentarily. In fact, I'm told maybe in just a couple of minutes, Craig Stamon is going to be here. So don't go anywhere. We're just going to stay on the air, wait for Craig Stamon to join us here. I did see our friend from the Padres Public Relations, Media Relations Department, Craig Huner, back here. Wanted to wish him a congratulations on his engagement that I saw on social media. It's good to see him back as the entire staff. Remember, it's not just the players and coaches, but you got an entire staff that's gearing up for a brand new season of Padres baseball coming up. And this is the first signature event of 2026 for your San Diego Padres. They'll head off to spring training. In fact, we'll ask Greg. I mean, he's probably going in the next week or so. Set up early. You want to be there before the players. And some guys get there early, so the manager's got to get going. So I'm sure he's got his last few days here in San Diego and Ohio before he is locked in for all of 2026. He's been interceded
by the Padres fans that want to meet the skipper, but here he comes. Make some noise, Padres.
All right.
Skipper Craig Stamon. How you doing, Skip? Good to see you.
Good to see you, Skip. We got the new manager of the San Diego Padres back with us on Ben & Woods on 97.3 from Padres FanFest. Craig Stamon with us here at Section 113, your first FanFest as Padres manager. Obviously, you've been to a few of these as player and part of the organization, but this time as skipper. How's it feel seeing all these fans out here this morning?
Yeah, it's great. Being a part of FanFest as a manager is definitely a little bit different than being as a player.
Hey, no big
when
deal.
I walked out of that elevator, I was like, whoa, all right, this is real. So
no big deal, but all these people are counting on you to not make any mistakes. Like, no mistake. Like, this is a really rabid fan base. Skip, and they're fired up for the season. It's so good to see everyone. You know, hope springs eternal in January, February, March. For you as a player, what was that like, the off season? You got to get some rest. You got to be with your family. You got to do all the daily grind. But that kind of feeling about, oh, man, we got to get back out there and get on the grind again. Now you got to do it in a whole different way.
Yeah, I would say life change would be a way I would describe it. Yeah, it's definitely different. Although I feel less pressure.
Yeah.
Because I don't physically have to perform.
Correct.
Now we'll just find out how smart I really am.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I get it.
We talked to Jason Adam a little bit earlier. Seems like things are going really well with him. Obviously going to be an important part of the bullpen, and that's going to be one of your strengths this season. So that's got to feel good. Knowing you've got that weapon with him and Mason Miller and Adrian Morejon and Jeremiah Estrada and some others on the back end.
Yeah, that was a big hit to our team, not only on the mound, what he does on the mound, but just within the clubhouse when Jason, went down with his injury last year. So the more that we can get him back on the field, the quicker we can get him back on the field, the better we're going to be, the better the clubhouse is going to be. But, obviously we got to be smart with him too. Long season, we want him pitching in October and maybe even November if it goes that long.
Yeah, for sure. Talking to Padres skipper Craig Stamon here, and what Joe Musgrove does with the pitchers, getting everybody together. We saw them all kind of, and players too, just working out on the beach the other day. As the skipper, now, you got to watch these guys, right? You got to make sure they're all doing the right thing, sticking to their plans, their program. How's that been for you so far? Are you dropping texts every day? Like, you getting your work in? I mean, are you a micromanager yet, or are you just a manager for now?
I'm just a manager. I know, you got to remind myself what it was like in the offseason for myself.
Right.
And I felt like most of these guys have control of what they're doing. They're professionals. They're here for a reason, so they're going to be on top of it. But it's always nice to check in, just see how they're doing, let them know that I do care about what they are doing. And that's been kind of fun to get back into that fold of off-season workouts and what that's like and where they're at in their progression and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
Craig, we talked to you a couple of times about, the process of getting hired and how that went and just kind of settling into the job. Now that you've had, a couple of months now to absorb it and start thinking ahead, what are some of the things you're kind of excited about and what are you maybe a little nervous about? Like first-time experiences as a manager. This is new for you.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything I'm not excited about. I think it's all very exciting. Everything new is exciting. It's just like building a staff, building that culture within our coaching staff, and then also transferring that into the players and helping them build their culture within the clubhouse. So those are the two things I'm most excited about, and we haven't got to any games yet. And that obviously, when those 3 hours that we're out there at Petco and in Arizona, wherever we're at, that's the most enjoyable part. That's when we should all be like, all right, we made it to the game. Now it's time to enjoy ourselves, have some fun, turn into 10-year-olds, and try to go win a championship.
How about the first time you have to go out and get in a manager's face? As a player, as a pitcher, all you can do is maybe an umpire. Yeah. You can roll your eyes maybe at a ball call, but you can't really scream at an umpire as a player.
Were you a yeller as a
manager? It's kind of different, right? Are you ready for that?
You know what? Maybe I should say this, but I'm going to say it. This is how I compartmentalize it as a player, is I ignored the umpires.
Smart.
I treated them as people and humans, like saying hi and, knowing that they're in it the same way I am. But any call they made, I just was like, that's the call. I can't do anything about it. Like,
just, you got nothing to do with it.
It's something that I can't control, and the only thing I control is the next pitch that I throw and being able to be all in on it. And I felt like if I worried about the umpire, I wouldn't be all in on the next pitch. As a manager, it's going to be different.
It's got to be different, right?
That relationship is important, and I've got to have my players back in that regard. But MLB also keeps putting in rules that don't allow managers to get fired up anymore. Like there's, I got the challenge system where the balls and strikes, and so our players are going to take care of that. Hopefully, we use that challenge system appropriately, and I don't have to argue balls and strikes anymore.
Well, that's the crazy thing too, is you're probably going to have to sit down with some guys and kind of meet out who gets to make those decisions and when, right? Because there's going to be guys, my guess is like Nick Pivetta is going to want to challenge every single pitch that doesn't go his way, right? Michael King may be one of those. Joe, I feel like he's been around the block. He knows how to work the umpire. Yeah. But Nicky P is who I think you got. We're like, bro, you just settle down. We burned through him in the first inning here.
Yeah, you're smart. You can see these guys. Nick wears his emotions on his sleeve.
I love that too, and I think Padres fans appreciate that too. I love the different personalities on this team. I do. I love the cool Manny Machado and cool Fernando, and I love the fiery Jackson Merrill. I mean, I that's one of the things that makes this team great. They're not robots. It's not they're all not all the same personalities. I like that about this squad.
Yeah, and I think when they're at their best is when we're letting their emotions like dictate how well they can do on the field.
Correct.
And obviously, like, you can't get too emotional,
Right.
but also that's like what makes them great.
Yeah.
And them being able to like excite the crowd and excite themselves and excite their teammates, we can't take that away. But we might take away Nick being able to challenge pitchers.
100%.
That might be a thing. We're gonna have to. Our catchers are gonna be the guys that are gonna be under control. The catchers will hopefully, be able to rein him in. And I'm not saying that it won't happen during the game where Nick's just like throws his hands up there and taps his head, and all of a sudden we've got a challenge on the scoreboard.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He just better be right.
Probably gonna be. Opening day weekend is going to be my guest with Nicky B. We got the skipper, Craig Stamon, with us here. Let's talk a little bit. I know, you're not unlike any other skipper, maybe other than Dave Roberts, right now that is going, man, I sure would like this, or I sure would like a little bit more depth here. AJ Preller's grinded hard on that, picked up another arm the other day. For you, as we go into spring training right now, there's a couple names we wanted to ask you about. Brian Hoeing is a name that we really enjoyed when he got here and pitched really well. Then he got hurt last year. Just kind of forgot he was on the 40-man. And how's he doing? Do you see a role for him in 26?
You know what? I think he's past some of the injury issues he had last year. Last year was just one after another, and he couldn't quite get healthy. And maybe the long season pitching in the playoffs got to him a little bit. But watch him throw a bullpen yesterday here at Petco Park.
Nice.
Looked good. Ball looked heavy.
Good.
Throwing all his pitches, slider, splitter. He seemed excited about it too, like almost like a breath of fresh air that he's able to do this again and build back up. So, like, he could be one of those wild cards that nobody's even thinking about.
Yep.
Jumps into our bullpen, and all of a sudden he's pitching the 7th and 8th inning for us. He has that capability.
We also wondered, obviously, the ship kind of sailed. Mason Miller's locked into the bullpen, but what about other relievers who could start? We know depth in starting pitching it's an issue for every team, but obviously the Padres are a team that probably needs more starters. Have you talked to any of those relievers now that the offseason's gone a little bit about what spring training could look like, stretching out some of those guys?
Yeah, there's a few of them that have talked to me about it. Like, hey, I can start, that kind of stuff. And I was like, let's pump the brakes here for a sec.
So they're no different than little leaguers, because I get the same dudes that, can I pitch? Can I pitch? Can I pitch?
No,
it's the same. There's no difference.
No
Just make more
difference. Money. And like some of these relievers, they want to play shortstop too.
Of course.
That's at least the way I was. I was like, hey, how about I bat third, play shortstop? Like, do you want us to win or not?
Right.
So I think we've had those conversations with all those guys, and part of it is them wanting to do it, and then part of them is like how good they are at the bullpen too, and being in the bullpen and being in that role. So we're weighing all those options. I think at this point right now, all the guys that we've kind of talked about that are bullpen guys are bullpen guys, and guys are starters.
Finally, before you go, I want to ask you about yesterday with the Padres in the community. Saw you going out, talking to kids, military, just seeing it now from the manager's perspective. How important is that what the Padres do over the holidays, right now, this time of year in the offseason, to make a connection with fans and with San Diego?
Yeah, one of the most proud things I am of being a Padre is the stuff that we do in the community. And I really enjoyed that when I was a player. I was able to be teed up to do a lot of different things in the community and put some smiles on some kids' faces and people in our area, in the military and all that kind of stuff. So being able to do that again, be thrown back into that is pretty cool. And being seen as the manager, obviously a person of leadership and leading these players and showing them what that's like to go out in the community and be the type of Padre that we want. I'm excited to lead that way and grow those guys into the next Craig Stamon that goes out in the community and does those types of things.
It's awesome, man. Thank you so much for your time. We'll see you out in Peoria in a few weeks, and we'll get to do this all over again and ask about, how's everybody feeling and
who's going to be a starter.
Who's going to be a starter. Same old stuff.
We'll do it again.
Just get used to the
But you're on a
grind.
tight schedule. I just got we need the reliever to come in for Craig now and get him moving on to whatever your next. So thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot.
There is Craig Stamon, manager of the San Diego Padres. We'll take a quick timeout. We will come back with more. Bennett Woods, live from Padres FanFest right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Craig Stamon. I was told he's on a tight schedule. Have to let him out at exactly 11:20, but then he didn't get out of here for another 5 or 6 minutes as he was signing more autographs. But
I think they build that time in.
Perhaps. That's knowing, what FanFest is all about.
Knowing he's going to get stopped on the way out.
It really is such a great chance to get to see some of these guys up close and in person. And, you know, as you watch them on TV or even come out to Petco Park, you can see what talented athletes they are. But really, they're all good guys. I mean,
100%.
you know, just kind of one of the better groups I've really ever been involved with and covered. You know, most teams have some good guys, some guys you just stay away from. But you go into the Padres clubhouse, and I never feel like, you want to stay away from this corner, or these guys aren't really that friendly. Honestly, it's a really terrific group. It has been the last couple of seasons, and I think we're very lucky in San Diego to have guys that you feel good about cheering for.
Easy, man. I got my 8-year-old here right now next to me, and you know, these are his heroes, like baseball players were mine when I was little. And it's kind of cool to be able to go home and tell him, no, that guy's a really good dude. He's a really good guy. He's a very, very nice guy. You know, they're good citizens, good people. So we have been lucky. This is a Dodger fan in full regalia out at Padres FanFest, which
bold.
makes no sense to me.
That is bold. I won't name any names. We had a guy who said he actually worked for the Angels, who's here and Tier 1 and big Padres fan, kind of keeping it on the DL.
Can I ask you
up in Anaheim, but that's okay.
What? Like, I want to ask, like, out of all the days that you don't need to be in full regalia, like if you're a fan, great, good for you. Go to Chavez Latrine in your full gear.
They not do FanFest
I don't
anymore
know.
up there?
They don't have to. They win a World Series. They probably charge $100 or something.
But again, like you're
at. It's not a game. You come down
If
to
you're
the
a baseball fan, you can wear like just generic baseball stuff.
You don't even have to wear baseball stuff. You just wear pants and a T-shirt and walk. Let's say you're a huge Dodger fan and your kid's a Padres fan, right? That happens. It's happened a bunch in San Diego, and you're like, Dad, I want to go to FanFest. All right, you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to go full Hardo mode with my hat and my jersey and, you know, my blue cleats and everything. I'm going to make this about this kid and who they like.
You know what's nice, though? He's here. I did not see anybody accosting him or giving him a hard time.
No.
You could the reverse would be true. If you went up to whatever Dodgers FanFest is wearing your Padres gear, you would make it out of that place alive.
Yeah, like one of Bo's best friends is a Dodger fan, you know, and his dad's a Dodger fan. They're cool. Not showing up here in full regalia, and for every birthday, this kid we give him Padres stuff. So it's the greatest. He gets the city, and he wears it too, which is the best. Little kids don't know; they don't know. But it was, it's certainly a sight to see at Padres FanFest. Full gear, always full gear.
I mean, we are lucky. The weather here is spectacular. I mean, it usually is. We had that FanFest a couple of years ago that was rained out, but you could not ask for a better late January day than the one we're getting. What are you seeing out there?
I just happened to look down at the
what's going on?
I just happened to look down at the field. There's a guy. He's playing catch with, I think it's his son. Let's just say the dad looks way more confident in throwing seeds at the kid than the kid is at catching them. And he's thrown one, and the kid does I'm going to move to the side and catch it.
Yeah.
Missed it entirely, smoked somebody else. He's not taking anything off, though. He's that dad that's like, I'm throwing this thing as hard as I can.
I'm in the outfield at Petco Park. I'm making the most out of this. My kid may or may not be able to catch these balls, but I am throwing it.
Just when I turned around, I see this kid like, Dad, what are you doing? He's throwing 83 at him out there on the grass.
Here's another thing I don't get. I'm watching the kids running the bases, and it seems like about 80% of them don't actually touch second base. They just round
go in front of
kind of on the inside. Like, isn't the best part of running the bases
stepping on the bag?
There you go. Get your foot on the bag as you go around second.
You need Flan out there waving them around, telling them what to do. No, man, I love this. This signifies for me every year. You know, it's here. Baseball's here, and it's such a. I don't ever look at baseball as a distraction because it's really I focus on it. I love it so much. But man, knowing every night you can count on a game at 6:35 is just the greatest feeling of all time. Like, we know what we're doing tonight as a family. We know what we're doing. Sunday at 1:00. And it's just the best. It's the best baseball season. There's nothing
It's just a
like
comfy,
it.
warm blanket.
It's just a
Dawn
blanket.
and Mud on
Dawn
TV.
and Mud, Jessica
Maybe
and
you're
Tony.
starting to get a little sleepy, but you're staying up. You're watching the rest of the game. It's that warm summer blanket.
I just get so excited, dude. I get so excited for the start of baseball season every single year. I will always feel that way. And, I know next year is up in the air. I hope they're able to figure out a way so that none of this stops. Why would you want something like this to come to a screeching halt? But I'm elated that it's back. You guys know how into it I am and how much Padres we talk on the show. So very, very, very happy, very blessed. Certainly, all the tier 1s here too. It's just a great day.
Wanted to go through what the rest of the day looks like here on 97.3 The Fan. Obviously, we had Jason Adam and Craig Stamon stop by. Coming up just after the top of the hour, Braden's going to take over, but early in his show, both Mason Miller and Joe Musgrove are going to come by this tent. So if you're still in the ballpark right now, if you can hear me, it'd be a good idea to be around here in the 12 o'clock hour as Mason Miller and Joe Musgrove are going to be here. And then for people who are coming in the afternoon session from 1 to 4, the Gwynn and Chris program is going to be live from 2 to 4. And in the 2 o'clock hour, both Jake Cronenworth and Jake Peavy, they got the double Jakes
I love it.
stopping by this tent. So, again, make sure you stop by here, section 113. Get your name in our drawing. We got more people putting their name in the hopper. We're going to select our first winner coming up here at the top of the hour, an autographed Michael King baseball. And they'll have more autographed baseballs to give away with Braden and the Gwynn and Chris show later.
Again, how great is it that Jake Peavy is at FanFest?
I was just thinking that, yeah.
God,
I'm so glad he's back in the fold,
back
man.
in the fold. That opening day, he came to our broadcast, which is the greatest thing of all time. Getting a chance to know Jake over the last couple of years at Fantasy Camp has been one of the highlights of my life. He is incredible, and I'm quite jealous, actually, of Gwynn and Chris. They could spend a little time with Peeve today, even though I just had him for a whole week.
Right.
Got to drive him to the gas station, which was like a life highlight for me. He's, I need a ride. I'm like, oh, I can drive you. Oh, thanks, Bubba. Come on down. Get in there and start chewing it or chopping it up. It was so
I drove
rad.
him home after the dinner on that Saturday night. He's like, y'all just go. I got an Uber coming. I was like,
No,
I've
I'll
got
drive
an
you.
extra spot. Like, he's like, all right,
You're
fine,
like, you know
sounds
what?
good.
Take my number. Anytime you need a ride or anything, just let me know. You need me to cook you a meal, make you a sandwich, whatever.
You sure it's not an inconvenience, Paulie? I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm good.
I'll
dude.
be fine.
I'm good.
I'm trying to remember if it was Jake at Channel 8 or Darnay. One of them posted a picture recently with Jake Peavy, and it said, one of these guys is a world-class Cy Young Award-winning pitcher. The other is a brilliant baseball analyst and broadcaster. I said, just kidding. They're both Jake.
He's
Jake
both.
Peavy.
Jake.
He's both of them.
He does.
Which is true.
He does such a good job. I'm so glad he's here. I'd love to see him before we split, but I just don't know where they are right now. But, man, it seems to be going well. Who's on stage right now? There's Michael King.
Michael King.
Michael the King is up
He's
there.
up there with Don, and who else is up there?
Doing like
They got
little-
the whole
Oh, yeah,
panel.
they do the Q&A panels as well, which is
Musgrove.
always fun.
I love it.
Oh, yeah, Don's up there talking to all of them on their stools. Well, why don't we listen? We're going to take a quick time out. Maybe we get some information here during the break. Last time out, and then we'll come back and go to the top of the hour, wrap things up. Our 2 hours here live from Padres FanFest on 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back. FanFest, Section 113 here at Petco Park. Want to thank all the Tier 1s who have stopped by. We've had a couple of them who just came by our tent. Said they were going to go with us on our trip to Chicago this summer, which is exciting. We are looking forward to that at the end of June, our special Hop Run Tours trip to go to that ballpark on the north side, Schmigley Field.
I'm going to do a 72-hour fast before we go and then one after. It's going to be an S show with food, man.
I saw
it's the best food in the country.
So one of the games we're going to, we actually get to sit in those rooftop seats, which are like the all-inclusive suites.
Yeah.
You get all the food. I was looking at the menu. I sent it to you guys.
It's so weird.
Burgers, brats, Chicago dogs. I mean, not everything.
I'll get up there and I won't be hungry. I promise you. It's like
old
Thanksgiving.
style. You like old style?
I love old style.
Old style is the Chicago beer.
It's like
right?
Thanksgiving. Every year I show up for Thanksgiving ready to, pile in. I'm like, I'm actually not even that hungry. Yeah.
So it's a part of the stadium, right? Like it's a seat that you purchase through the team,
but
it's
it's
across
buildings across the street, so they could have unfettered control of who gets up there to watch the games. They can sell tickets and seats now.
It's
used
nuts.
to just be people live there and they create their own bleachers on the top, and Cubs are like, no. We can buy you out. We can afford to buy you out now.
I went to a party on a rooftop deck back in like 99, 98. Which was insane. A friend of a friend invited me down to watch a game from up on top, and it was nuts. It was nuts. But now that they've corporatized it a little bit, fine. It works for me. It's going to be a great view, a great series against the Cubs. And when is that? Late June.
It's like June 29, 30, July 1st, right at the end of June, early July that we're going to be out there. Of course, that's your second Padres trip. You're already signed up and ready to go for the series at the end of April in Mexico City against the Arizona Diamondbacks.
I cannot wait. Really kicked myself after not going to the first one, and really was my wife that spurned it on, and she said, let's go do it. And I go, done. It's going to happen. So we'll go have a great time and go see some baseball. And I heard the crowds and the food there is just unbelievable. So I'm excited. It'll be a nice adventure.
Before all that to look forward to, though, we've got the World Baseball Classic coming up now in March, just a few weeks away. Mason Miller, one of the pitchers who is here and will be here on 97.3 The Fan in the next hour, was just talking to the media downstairs, said how excited he is to represent Team USA at the World Baseball Classic. He said it's just an opportunity that you get offered it. You cannot pass up that opportunity. So he'll be one of the many Padres who are competing for their countries. Of course, Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. will be playing for the Dominican Republic. I saw, Yuki Matsui this week is on Team Japan, and I'm sure there's a few others. The final, I believe they're holding a special next week on MLB Network where they will announce officially all the rosters. So we'll know for certain every Padre who's going to be departing spring training for their WBC teams. We'll know that for sure next week.
Yeah, and I'm such a big fan of the WBC, but I know the risks that come along with it. Certainly, I remember vividly talking to former Marlins skipper Skip Schumacher, current Texas Rangers manager, and talking about Sandy Alcantara. Just was not the same. They got to ramp up so quick, and these guys are creatures of habit, man. So it does make you a little bit nervous. Try to let all that go and just enjoy the baseball.
Felt like Darvish when he didn't even really pitch that much for Team Japan, but didn't have his same spring training. It can affect the teams and the players. We'll see. Padres have a little more information and data, having now done this a couple of times and had players who've gone. So hopefully they can pass that along to Craig Stamon.
Wow.
And, they'll come up with a pretty good plan for spring training this year.
Totti's never gotten to do it, right?
No, it's his first one. He was ineligible last time.
He's losing his mind. I saw like an interview or somebody had transcribed an interview. He said he's like so excited to do it. Great. And if maybe that's one way you can look at it, and if you're an optimist, great. Now you're locked in. Now you're locked in a little bit sooner. It doesn't take that whole April, May, whatever. You got out there, you're playing at the highest level. These guys are not taking anything off it. It's not an exhibition. They're not treating it like an exhibition. They're treating it like the biggest thing ever. And maybe you come into the season locked in and ready to go. Now, of course I worry about it. I think all Padres fans do. I'm sure Dodger fans are panicked that Yamamoto is on the staff. I guess Ohtani's not going to pitch, but he's just going to swing it. But still, man, you worry about that. easier after you won the last 2 World Series to say, hey,
I
you
think
guys
you
go
make a
have
good
some
point,
fun.
though, that there could possibly be positive benefits
I
as
hope.
well.
I hope.
To
I'm
playing
praying.
in the
I'm
World
praying
Baseball
for that.
Classic. It's not just anyone who goes either is going to could get hurt or is certainly going to be more tired or whatever.
Thing is,
it could be good for some
What
guys
is a
to go
positive
play
benefit,
well.
though? I mean, really,
get
like,
locked in.
In early, get
Hitters.
confidence hitters early in the season, get you going a little bit faster than you normally would.
Hitters locked in a little bit more maybe intensity. Now the season is pretty intense because it's so long. So you worry about burnout. It's got, Craig Stamon's got a ton of new things he's got to worry about he's got no experience managing in the big leagues. And they're throwing, hey, here's a WBC at you. Also, we're going to do this weird new challenge we've never done. He's got more challenges than Mike Schilt had more that Bob Melvin did, right? This is kind of the growth of the game, as it were. But there's already a lot to chew on. And then you start throwing these things in there. Imagine, you're managing your first team ever, and 6 of you guys all right, see you later, bro.
Nick Pivetta will be gone for Team Canada. I don't think we've seen official word one way or the other, so we'll find out next week.
It'd be crazy not to ask him, for sure. But I don't know, man. I think for pitchers, Paulie, I don't know that there's a lot of positives. But I think for hitters, position players, maybe it could help them a little bit. But, man, that season's such a long, long, long grind, dude.
Yeah, because outside of a hot April, I can't really recall any player ever going, hey, thankfully we had the WBC and I was able to
we'll ask
get
them.
going. Because I'm curious, what are the net positives?
We'll ask them.
We know all the negatives.
We'll ask them when we get out there, too, to talk about it. But I want to be in support of the WBC because I think it's a great event. I love the baseball. I love the passion and fervor for which they play for their country. I think it's amazing.
Spring training feels like the bubble boy. Just keep them in the bubble. Keep them at Peoria. They're still playing games, but they don't care as much.
You set them out in the real world. You never know what's going to happen.
Yes.
No, I'm excited for it. It's a star-studded cast, man. It is our team. USA looks great. Dominican looks great. I saw a story this morning. I need to delve more into it. Puerto Rico is actually thinking about potentially yanking their team, which I think would be horrible because no team has more fun and is cooler than the Puerto Rican team, but they cannot seem to get insurance for these guys.
I've seen, Venezuela's had similar problems as well. No one wants to risk, obviously, major contracts if they get hurt and aren't going to get paid out. But insurance companies are also I don't know, we want to insure baseball players who can get hurt playing baseball.
I just don't get why some and not the others.
I don't either.
That's what I don't understand.
I'm not sure how that logistically is playing out as well.
I don't either.
A little breaking Padres news for you this morning. Did not expect that. Actually being broken by the guys up at Driveline Baseball. It says, congratulations to Riley Pint on signing with the San Diego Padres. The former 4th overall pick impressed at Pro Day with a heater up to 97.4. 95-96 sinker mixed in, showed quality feel for both the sweep and the slider. And a little more context from Matt Friars. Does the Padres continue to fill out their minor league rosters with guys with histories of big velocity and questionable command?
Yes.
All of 2025 on the injured list in the Guardians organization will now look for a chance to follow Eduardo Nunez's success at El Paso. Yeah, the Rockies made, I believe it was 2017. Riley Pint was the 4th overall selection in the first round of the draft and just never panned out. Big arm, but was never able to kind of lock in his command. Maybe a different organization working with Ruben Niebla and his staff. They can figure something out, but obviously with a 95-96 sinker, that's not something every guy can do, even in Major League Baseball. So another minor league pitching addition for the Padres reported this morning.
Scouring, baby. Scour the ends of the earth to find and round out that depth that you need at the minor league levels. And again, still very curious to see what will happen with a couple weeks left before pitchers and catchers. Will a trade be made? Will somebody get signed? What big announcements will we have here in San Diego before spring training?
Craig Stamon, who we just talked to, currently meeting with the media, says that Gavin Sheets is currently penciled in as the team's number 1 first baseman.
Okay.
But they have several players on the roster that can play the position. Mentioned Will Wagner, Jake Cronenworth, and Sungmoon Song getting reps at first base as well. Of course, if Gavin Sheets is your first baseman, makes you wonder, the designated hitter can be kind of rotating around starters who need a day off, but they don't really have a designated hitter then on the roster if Gavin Sheets is being penciled in as mostly an everyday first baseman. again, I don't think A.J. Preller is done making moves, but at this point, you'd expect to see Gavin Sheets potentially on opening day.
Sheets at
manning
1,
first base.
Sheets at 1,
Crony at 2,
Xander. I mean,
and then Sungmun Song starts on days when Manny's DHing or Xander's DHing.
Okay.
You've got a backup infielder who moves around. Does that sound like maybe that's the plan at the moment?
At the moment today.
That Song gets at bats when other guys are DHing, and then he takes the bench spot when everybody else is healthy?
Sure. Yeah.
Something like that.
For sure. And I did I read wrong? Are they going to look at him in the outfield as well?
I did see that story that they weren't. They certainly are not dismissing the possibility
total utility
of seeing him in the outfield as well. So then, you do that, then you can put anyone in a DH. You can give Tatis, you can give Merrill a DH day, you can give Laureano a DH day if you've got someone who can back up pretty much at every position. But maybe they won't sign an actual DH and will use it. Not the worst idea in that you've got so many veteran players. You want Manny to play fewer than 159 games.
Yes.
You want him to get more DH days. If you sign a big money DH, like the Dodgers, for all the things they do have, they don't have the ability to get a guy off their feet to DH on a day.
He's pretty good, though.
Because that takes Shohei Ohtani out of the lineup.
Yeah.
So you can't say, hey, we'll put someone in short. Mookie, you can DH today, because then you lose Shohei in your lineup. So they don't have the ability to do that. Perhaps the Padres are planning on using that DH spot just as truly a get-off-your-feet day guy and rotate it just around the, 7 or 8 regular starters in the lineup.
I would like to have that problem where I'm like, man, I got to pencil Shohei Ohtani into the lineup today.
It's not a problem per se.
Man.
I mean,
shoot! I really wanted to get Tommy Edman off his feet.
I would say for guys like Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, they probably would like to be able to DH a day here or there.
By the way,
they don't have that opportunity.
They can. They're fine. They can sit.
They can just sit. And they'll be fine, obviously. Yeah. So. Craig Stamon also says that Luis Campusano is currently in competition to be one of the top 2 catchers on the team. Stamon added that Campusano caught him when he was a player. Yeah, and that gives them a good relationship. Stamon added that he sees him as a catcher rather than a first baseman. So we had talked, we'd seen Campy once or twice over at first base. Talked about him as a potential bat DH.
It's a big year for him, man.
Still going to get an opportunity to catch.
$1 million, low risk, right? So, I imagine he'll get more than 21 ABs this year to prove himself.
I would think so.
But
I would think so.
I'd say if I'm Luis Campusano, this is a massive, massive year for me if I want to continue to be a big leaguer.
And then confirming what I just speculated, Stamon says they'll use the DH spot as an opportunity to cycle guys through, get them a day off their feet while keeping their bat in the lineup. They don't currently have a guy who is a permanent designated hitter. Okay. So that's kind of what the lineup is looking like at the moment, pending, of course, any additions they might make between now and the start of the season.
Yeah, for sure. Man, it's been a really, really fun day out here at Padres FanFest.
Absolutely.
I want to thank everybody that came out and said hello and took pictures and dapped us up. Man, couldn't do this without you guys, obviously. And the best compliment we hear is, man, you guys make the traffic go by so quick in the morning. And I love it. And I'm glad for that traffic. That means they get to.
We're the only people in San Diego who love traffic. Traffic's good for business.
It's good for business.
The longer you're all stuck
the better
the freeways getting to work, the better it is for us.
Boy, but you get me in the car in some traffic, and it's like the worst thing of all time. I mean, it is the worst. We backed up a little bit on the way here, and I'm just, what the?
I'm just losing your mind.
What is this? What's going on a Saturday? Didn't I say that on a Saturday? He's not paying attention. What's going on? It's a Saturday. I did say it, yeah. Hi, Mo.
Just a reminder, coming up in our next half hour, Braden's going to take over, but he's got Mason Miller and Joe Musgrove, who are both stopping by. So if you're in the area, Section 113, make sure you come by our tent. Last couple of chances here to get into the drawing for the first giveaway. Our Michael King signed baseball. We're going to give that as soon as we get off the air here in just a minute or two. So make sure you get your name in the hopper if you haven't done so yet. We will, of course, heading out to spring training near the end of February. We're going to broadcast live from Peoria, February 23rd, 24th, and 25th.
3 weeks from tomorrow, we head out.
Yeah, buddy.
Woo. So we will have some live shows, and we'll talk to usually we get to talk to most of the guys that cycle through our table there. Those are pretty fun shows. So if you're a Padres fan, you don't want to miss those.
Been a while since we talked to Toddy. I would like to get Toddy back in the chair this year and talk to him. I mean, he's there.
I think we should be there before the WBC guys leave. That was the idea. And then And then some of those guys will obviously depart around the same time we're departing for their national teams and then be back for the end of spring training. But it'll go quickly. I mean, it'll go quickly. Like these 2 hours went quickly.
Yes,
The music, we are wrapping up. So thank you to everyone. Thanks to Kyle back in the studio.
Thank you, Kyle.
Thanks to
Good job,
Paul.
Kyle.
Did a good job setting everything up. Jeff and Ava, our promotions team out here. Adam Klug out here as well. For Stephen Woods, Paulie Randall, I'm Ben Higgins. Thanks for joining us. More live from FanFest with Braden coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.